I would like to introduce myself. My name is Rahul Pawar, and I'm a student of Masters. I have done my Masters in English, and currently I'm an assistant professor. And I'm a part-time YouTuber also. So we both are in the same profession, fortunately, and that's why I guess we are tuning in. How about you,
Mm.
sir?
Yes, I'm glad to know this. Yes. If I talk about myself, my name is Sunil. I'm from Delhi. Talking about my educational qualification, I'm a graduate.
Okay.
If I tell you what I do as a profession, I have been an English trainer for some time. I give online and offline classes. When it comes to my hobby, I love listening to music. So that's it.
Okay. So you are very fond of music.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So what kind of music do you listen to?
It thoroughly depends what kind of songs are in trend. I usually go for trending songs. I don't go for any specific language. So sometimes if songs are trending, if these songs are from Bihar or from South or from any part of India or from any part of the world, I love listening to these songs.
And how about the language? I mean, what in what language do you prefer listening to the music? I mean, mostly.
Mm. If I talk about my precedents, I usually like listening to Punjabi songs.
Okay.
I'm an admirer of Diljit,
Diljit Dosanjh.
right?
So you must have watched that movie Amar Singh Chamkila, which is recently in trending.
I'm afraid I have not watched that movie, but whenever I or whenever I get to hear that his new song has come, I don't miss that opportunity. I love listening to his songs. When it comes to a movie needs at least 1.5 hours to
Yeah.
watch it. And these days I'm snowed under with multiple things. I barely have time to watch movies, so I don't do it. I have not watched that movie yet.
Okay. So while I was researching about you, I found that thing that you have recently joined in one of the institutes in Delhi, which is a very known institute for teaching English. So
Right,
maybe
right.
the reason you are tied up these days and you don't get time to do what you like.
Exactly, yes. So I have joined that institute lately. I go there at 3. I usually spend 6 hours. I come back at 9. It means at 9 I'm done with my classes. After that I come home and it usually takes half an hour to come home.
Okay.
At half past 9 in the evening, I do have my online classes. So in the morning I give online classes, and after that I go for offline classes when I come back. So again I give online classes. So I'm very much occupied with classes.
So all the time you keep talking to people and and you have been teaching English, so it must be very interesting for you to do sometimes. But sometimes it gets monotonous and boring also because you'll have to entertain even if the person is not that good in English, or that person might keep repeating mistakes. As teachers, we might face such problems. How do you tackle with
Exactly.
them? How do you look at it?
So it utterly depends on you, how you see that. Whenever my students make any mistakes, I take it always as a challenge. And I have been a creative teacher. I always come up with new ideas. Whenever they make mistakes, I make them realize that why it is incorrect. I give them proper explanation. Making a mistake is not a problem, but not working on your mistake is a
Is
big
the
thing.
problem.
That yes, then it is not acceptable. So initially, yes, whenever I have new batches, whenever I have students from intermediate levels, there it is a bit problematic. But if I have students who are already advanced or who are already in upper intermediate levels, then I don't have any problems. And this is one of the professions I'm fond of.
Yeah.
English is my cosmos. Without English, I cannot do anything. So every time I enjoy that and I love what I'm doing.
Okay, I mean, and this is the best thing about you, that you love what you do and following your passion and doing something or involving yourself in those activities which gives you pleasure and ultimately you grow also. And this is a very good thing because you get to do a lot of things and that too with benefits. So
Right.
in on the one hand you are nurturing your habit also or you are following your passion and on the other hand you are getting some monetary benefits also. Everybody gets in whatever they do, they get some monetary benefits, but following your passion is a great thing that nobody does, I guess.
Yes, and what I personally adored this profession is that if you have a government job or if you work in a private firm,
Yeah,
you're not recognized. Only few people know you. But when you are in a teaching profession, you are known by a large number of people. And somewhere you become a helping hand to these people. Somewhere they achieve something. When they achieve, that is not their achievement. I feel that I have complaced the world.
surely,
So
surely a team has something. I mean, a great helping hand, I would say, when it comes to the development of students, because he has worked on his students and he can see the fruit of his labor. So
right.
this is a good thing to feel that as at least you could be of some help to somebody, or you could be use of some service to people. And this is what we can do as human beings for the sake of him. Yeah.
Hmm. And the kind of affection I get from my students, that I really cannot thank enough to them for the same. Having said that, I have students who are into to the nicest professions. I have a student who has been a manager. Now she needs to learn English. She needs to work on her communication skills. When I teach her, I'm always on cloud nine. That okay,
Yeah.
I'm teaching someone who is already at that position, and she needs my help. Somewhere I feel that okay, the profession I have chosen, that is one of the best professions. This is one thing, and on the other hand, I have students from all walks of life. I also have students who are in ninth standard, 10th standard. I have students who are working professionals. As I said, one of my students is a manager. One of my students is working in a multinational company. So I have a lot of students in offline classes. But when it comes to offline classes, when it comes to online classes, somewhere I feel that I'm confined. I
Yeah.
always have to be in front of the screen. So I was done. Before that, I used to give online classes throughout the day. It started in the morning, it ended in the evening. But I was not enjoying, and somewhere I was completely fed up with this.
Okay.
On the second thought, I decided that okay, I must go for offline classes. I was already teaching at GT Nagar, and then I got to know okay, there was a vacancy in that beautiful institute. Then I did apply for that, and fortunately I made it happen.
And you were bound to do that because I mean, considering the experience and considering the expertise that you have in terms of English is remarkable. And anybody who would be in contact with you and that person gets to listen to your English and your dedication or your expertise, your creative methods of teaching to students, that this will probably or surely tell people or convey people that this is the person for the job. I mean, this is the right person for that
Thank
chair.
you so much. Thank you for the
Really.
appreciation. Yes.
So this was I mean bound to happen. I would say this was not surprising for me considering I have been from for less I mean 1.5 years now. So whenever I used to even I was associated with English area, I used to take lessons from them. So well, I used to go on YouTube and search something so that I can get info about the tutor. So I could watch one of your videos with Shruti Sharma, and that was really amazing.
Okay. Thank you so much. And yes, I want to make it crystal clear that I only had sessions with EnglishYaari tutors for the sake of my YouTube channel. That was not for the sake of my own improvement. Honestly speaking, I know that how well they speak. I know them. Being a teacher, I know their mistakes. I know that I'm not. perfect. I would not say that I'm infallible. No one is infallible, but I know their level, how well they speak. I also know my level. Most of the people often ask this question, and they doubt that being a teacher, why you need English Yari sessions. I always say them, or I will always say this to them that okay, I did take sessions only for my YouTube channel. I don't need them. Honestly speaking, I don't need them. But if you are in this profession, if you are learning English, you have to learn so many things. Being a teacher of English, Ari, they also need to work on so many things. I can tell this that where they lack or what their mistakes are.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and yeah.
Mhm.
I'd like to add something to this. But this for the same reason, I myself had sessions with English Yaari, even if my language was good, even if I could speak very well. And at the end of the session, they used to wonder and they used to ask me that, "Why are you here? I mean, your language seems to be good, your pronunciation seems to be good, you can speak fluently also, some a bit at least. If not, you are the advanced speaker, but still your language seems to be good. So why are you here?" So I used to tell them the same thing, that just because I'm a YouTuber, I don't get time to record videos every time, prepare a script. So I can simply go on English ARA, record a video, and upload it. That was the reason. And one of the tutors I have had the sessions with, she was making a mistake in pronunciation. So she's rumor to rumor.
Right,
And she was using having in terms of positions. So as you know
right,
that we can't use have
exactly,
plus I in terms of positions. I'm having this. I'm having two brothers. I'm having an iPhone. See, you can't use it
right,
in
right,
terms of position. That is the rule. So as teachers, we both know this thing. So I tried or I dared to tell one of the tutor that this is the mistake that you have made. So I got it is pretty interesting. I have received a call from one of the person from the management of English Area, and that person told me that you can't upload the video because the tutor is not so comfortable with the
Mhm.
video. She does like to be upload her videos to be uploaded on YouTube. And earlier she was very fine with having her videos uploaded on YouTube. But by
Mhm.
the time he pointed some mistakes in that video or in her, she started getting offended. And at the same time, when the tutor points some fingers at us or considers or takes some mistakes of ours during their conversation, that is totally fine. Even as teachers, I have told them that you have said this, I should have spoken this way, that way. This is
Right,
fine. They don't take it that way.
exactly, yes. And I did the same, but honestly speaking, I always edited that part for the sake of their own respect. I do respect every teacher, but there were some teachers they always took me for granted. And talking about Meghna ma'am, talking about Shruti, and talking about other trainers, they have been good, but mistakes are the part of everyone's life. If you are trying something that you have never ever tried, it is unequivocal. You are going to make a large number of mistakes. But the point is, if you make a mistake, make sure you are not going to repeat those mistakes. This is where you can become the improved version of yourself. When it comes to English, Yari, there used to be a bit problem with me that sometimes I did not have proper network. Keeping this in mind, and I thought, okay, I have already paid a hefty amount for English Yari sessions. Now, what if the session does not go very well? If the session does not do very well, what would I do? That somewhere I'm going to lose my money.
Yeah,
But they did not understand that
it's a practical
they
concern.
yes, they did not understand. And I used to be so particular that okay, I wanted to look good, I wanted my background to be peaceful, I didn't want any kind of unnecessary noise and all. So there were many things, but there were some tutors, and I know that what their level is. And I don't, let's not get into this, that they are they are the best teachers. Whatever they are doing, they are the best. That somewhere I learned and somewhere I taught them. Then okay, yes, being a teacher, it happens that if, and honestly speaking, I'm not saying that I know everything. I do make mistakes, and I every time I learn from my mistakes. And my thing is that I acknowledge it. I openly
Yeah,
acknowledge it. And What I have done is that if I made any mistakes, I never ever edited that part that Sunil is making mistake, because I'm open to learning new things. I'm open to knowing my feedback. So I uploaded that video on my YouTube channel that okay, I have made this mistake, because that's how you improve. That's how you enrich your skills. And I happily uploaded those videos, and I also got the feedback. Okay, being a teacher, you are making this mistake. I said, okay, no problem. That's somewhere I'm giving a chance to myself to work on my loopholes. That's how I improve.
And one of the things that you mentioned about the pointing mistake kind of thing. So they used to make or point out some mistakes so that we keep having sessions with them. This was the
Hmm.
reason I, as far uh, the marketing strategy is concerned. So
Right.
if suppose I had a session with you and I'm from so and so platform. So if I had a session with you and I said that your language is totally fine, you don't need to practice, you don't need to
Exactly.
master your pronunciation. Is your language is very fine. It is quite. It sounds very great. You don't need to take sessions from our platform, so you won't
Right.
be taking the session. So
Exactly.
I'll have to at least some mistakes in terms of pronunciation, in terms of if I don't get it that you are very precise with your talk, so I can find some mistakes in terms of interruptions, in terms of other aspects, in terms of British and American slang, in terms of why don't you use some idioms and phrases, why don't you could have said this so and so. So if you want, if you're looking at the gray areas, you will surely find one, and if you don't, then you won't find. So this is the human nature, and pointing fingers at somebody is not new in the invention of in the history of human, I guess. So maybe I take it that way. So I did not take it anywhere seriously. Yeah, mistakes are natural because
Hmm.
this is the language. This is the second language of ours. We don't, we Marathi or Hindi is our first language. So there are some mistakes or there are some things which we may not be very good at.
Hmm.
So we can understand them and go on.
It is so true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, I could not agree more with this. That is their strategy, and it is good. But now their channel or English Yari is in full swings.
Yeah,
Hmm?
it is.
Yes, and I think whosoever is learning, that everyone is aware, and let's not give them importance that whatever they are doing, that is good.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
yes.
How
Okay. Yes.
about your
Mhm.
yeah? How about you? I mean, as a teacher, I would like to ask you. Suppose recently I have started a spoken English course wherein I will be teaching spoken English. Earlier, I used to teach textbooks. For example, 10th and 12th, I used to teach at them, and I used to teach English literature also in at a senior college. So the question of speaking or the question of mastering the language was not there. So it was more or less concerned with literature, textbooks, short stories, dramas, and plays. So this time I'm going to teach something that is solely related to language and spoken pronunciation and vocabulary development and all. So what kind of books or what kind of strategies should I be using as far as spoken English is concerned?
Hmm. First thing first, break a leg for that. I wish you luck for it. Hmm. The, the
Thank
the second thing, that whenever you are there, you have to understand the level of students. If you are able to sense that what their requirement is, you always need to go for their own requirement. Sometimes you are going to have the amalgam of students,
yeah.
that sometimes, yes, they would not be able to translate from Hindi to English. Sometimes you are going to have students that they don't need to learn grammar. They would only come to you for getting the ambience of English. That's how it works. So you have to be ready, and you have enough knowledge for this, and you have been into this profession. You just need to bring something new, and you just need to mold your methods. When it comes to literature, when it comes to academic, it is antithesis of what you do in spoken classes. When it comes to
Okay.
spoken, yes, when it comes to spoken classes, there are multiple things that you need to work on. Then being a teacher, you have to keep multiple things in mind. First, when it comes to me, I am very particular about grammar. I make sure my students do not have grammatical errors while speaking. So
Okay.
wherever they make mistakes, sometimes I note down their mistakes, or at the same time, I correct them and I make them realize, and I tell them, okay, you should not have made it plural. Rather than saying peoples, you must have said people. Rather than using is, you must have used are. Like this, I correct them. When I feel okay, my students are speaking very well and one or two mistakes are there, then I let it go. But when I feel okay, this person is making this mistake accidentally, or this person is not working on this one particular thing, then first day I let it go. Second day I make sure, oh, I'll correct. Second thing, whenever I teach, whenever I start taking any sessions, either it is online or offline, 9 times out of 10, I write or I give them at least 5 new words.
Okay. Instead
Sometimes,
of using the same.
right. Yes, and yes, I always go for synonyms. First, I write those words, and after the word, what I do, I let them know what are the part of speeches of that particular word, whether it is an adjective, noun, or whatever it is, so that they have an idea. I give them the right pronunciation. I tell them how it can be used. That's how they get an idea. And then after after they write it down, I make them use at least one or two words so that it will be convenient for them. And that's how they are going to commit this in their memories. This is what I do.
Okay.
Hmm. And honestly speaking, the first and foremost thing is try to know their interest. When you teach grammar, they will yawn and
Yeah.
you are going to lose your interest in teaching and somewhere you will become demotivated. Because what I honestly speaking, I always teach my students according to their interest. When I feel that okay, they are yawning, they are not showing their entire interest in learning grammar lessons, then I have to crack jokes, I have to pull their leg. Somewhere I have to make that class entertaining, or I have to do something. And
Yeah.
this is what you need to do. And once you start doing, you will be the master. You will have your own methods. You will realize, okay, what is right, what is wrong, and what you need to do and what you need to avoid.
Okay. And what should be the first thing that a person should start with? Suppose I'm a teacher and I'm going to teach spoken English class. So what should I start with? Should I be starting with grammar, or should I be starting with?
Sure.
Uh, yeah.
I can yes, I can give you an exquisite solution to this. Raul, whenever you are teaching, you must be proficient in one particular chapter. When it comes to
Yeah.
me, I feel I'm a little bit good at tenses. So I always start with tenses, and according to me, tenses are at most important, and present simple tense is very important. And I
Yeah.
want them to zero in on present simple tense and then past tense. Whatever I teach, I always start with tenses, as I said. I teach them tenses, then I go for modals, then I go for conditional. If it is required, I go for articles and then first nouns and then articles. So that's how I teach. And it completely depends. It completely depends what you are very good at. When it comes to me, I always start with tenses. But when it comes to you, if you feel you are good at this particular thing, if you want to teach the part of speeches, then you can go for it. Choice is yours. But whenever you are teaching, you need to be confident. You need to practice, because we often say this: the first impression is the last impression.
Yeah. It is, and it
So
always is.
yes. So by chance, if you are conducting any sessions, or if anything slips your mind, or if you are not able to convey your message impeccably, then you are going to lose the interest, or your students are going to be dubious that our teacher does not know anything. When it happens, somewhere
Yeah.
you will lose your interest, somewhere you might not like it. So go on teaching. The more you teach, the more you learn. I have been an English trainer, and still there are so many things that I need to work on. Every time I'm confused, because I always give a chance to my students to ask me. That's how I improve. I know nothing, but
Okay.
every day I'm learning. Every day that my students ask me, okay, because these days people are learning from Instagram University or from different platforms they learn, and what these people do, they copy and then paste. There have been many YouTubers, I don't want to name them. Then what they do, that if any word they get, they don't check the use of it, then they use it, and then that's how other people copy it. I want to tell you an interesting fact, and that because we have already exceeded the time, and then we will continue in that your video. Hmm.
Yeah.
I want to tell you I want to share one anecdote that I used to have a student, and
Okay.
she was very new, and it was her first or second class. She started trying to know what I know. That she was just checking my knowledge. She
Oh,
opened
yeah,
her
it happens.
copy. I'm happy
It
with that.
happens.
That yes, I'm happy that even if I don't know anything, I clearly say that I don't know. Because when I say I don't know, it means I want to know. I'm going to learn, or I'm going to work on it. So she opened her copy and she started asking. By grace of God, I was aware of so many things. I knew those words already, but there were a handful of words I was not aware, because you cannot know everything. When it comes to vocabulary, it is so deep. You can never ever answer all the vocabularies that I might use a word that you might not be aware. If you use any word, I might not be aware, because we
Yeah.
learn vocabulary according to our interest. If I find any word is fascinating, then I'll go, okay, I'm going to use it. I don't care whether Rahul is going to understand it or not.
Yeah. This happens.
Yes, this is the thing. Wind it up. Thank you for joining, and I really
Okay.
enjoyed this section. This is what.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really enjoyed the session.
Same here. Okay. Take care. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Take care. Bye.